Welcome back to Paperback Ponderings. We are very excited to be wrapping up our summer and back to it with a new season, fall books, fall radar, all the good things coming for the end of 2026. We've got a couple of fun episodes lined up for you this upcoming kind of era of Paperback Ponderings. But today, and today only, we are going to talk about the first part of our fall radar. There are a lot of books coming out, so we actually had to do a two-parter for this radar. We're going to cover September, mostly just September, I think. And then in part 2, we're going to cover October and November. So without further ado, Miss Kyla is going to introduce us to our first book coming on September 1st. There's a million, so just like hold on to your hats. But Kyla will take us away with the first one.
So the first one is an exciting one. I've actually already read it, so I'm excited to tell you about it. But on September 1st, we have Scion by James Islington, or Islington. Not sure how the correct pronunciation is there.
I think some people do say Islington, but I can't. Like, I cannot say Islington. I will say Islington.
It feels wrong, but then Islington also feels a little bit off too. I've heard both, so I don't know. We just need James to come in and clear things up
James,
for us.
You have an open invitation to Paperback Pondering.
So Scion is his new sci-fi book, but you may have heard his name before because he is the author of The Will of the Many, which is a super popular epic fantasy series. And this is his debut sci-fi. So he's taking a little bit of a shift. This is also a really short book. So if you know The Will of the Many, then you know that it's quite long. And this one is like 200 pages. So very, very big switch up for James here. But Scion is set in a futuristic cyberpunk sci-fi world where the super wealthy have found a way to live forever, or at least a really long time. And so because of limited resources in the world, it's actually legal to kill them. And they're called lifers, and it's just legal to kill lifers. The main character in the story is an augmented human who works on contracts, basically killing lifers for a living. But he's just gotten a new assignment for a protection job, which he hasn't done in a while. So he's a little bit skeptical about it. And when he gets there, the job is to guard this rich old lady who says that people are trying to kill her. And he quickly finds out that this is true. People are coming in hot trying to kill her. So the book is very high action. You've got these scenarios with assassins coming in and him defending against them and like setting traps and stuff and just generally being clever. But it also has a good humor thread throughout it as well. The main character, this augmented human, is very dry and sarcastic. And then you have the old lady who is very sassy. So there's a good banter dynamic between them. There's also a subplot of him trying to uncover the truth about a traumatic event that happened to him in his past. So we get kind of snippets of that throughout the story as he works on understanding that a bit more. But yeah, I really liked this one. I find that it's a really good one for fans of Murderbot. So I know Murderbot's a super popular series. If you've read it and you liked it, you're getting a similar type of humor here. You have that same kind of augmented human thing going on, the same kind of futuristic sci-fi tech forward world. So yeah, if fans of Murderbot will definitely like this one. And if you haven't read Murderbot, then if you just are interested in a fast-paced cyberpunk sci-fi, then this is definitely gonna be a good one.
I was gonna say, what is an augmented human? But is it like, it's just like a computer human? Is it an AI?
No,
like
it's not an AI. It's like a person who has been technologically advanced in ways that they have heightened strength, or they can do stuff with their mind. It's kind of hard to explain because I find with these sci-fi books, they always kind of throw you into the deep end of this sci-fi world, and they have all this technology that we're not familiar with from our current life, and you just kind of have to figure it out as you go. So yeah, he's got augments that make him really good at killing lifers. He's very good at fighting. And in this world, they kind of have when you can see stuff in your field of vision that's not just your field of vision. I'm not explaining this properly, but almost like in a video game, how you have options on your screen, but that would be in your vision because of implants and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
neural link kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Very random for James to be going down this space. But it does seem like that's kind of like, you know how there's phases. There's always phases in writing and like trends. And I feel like we're trending that way right now.
Yeah, I also respect an author who wants to try different things and switch up the vibe and not just kind of like do the same story again and again. So
like stay in that safe space kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. Next on our list, also coming out on September 1st, is The Knave and the Moon, which is the second and final book in Rachel Gillig's newest duology. If Rachel Gillig is ringing some bells for you, she is the best-selling author of the Shepherd King duology, which we did feature heavily on the podcast when it came out, and both read it. Very good. The first book in this duology, The Night and the Moth, was actually nominated for Reader's Favorite Romantasy in 2025, and it is currently sitting at a 4.21 out of 267,000 ratings. So doing pretty good. And anyone who has read The Night and the Moth do credit this new series as kind of like an omen to the Shepherd King duology. So you get a lot of this similar kind of gothic underpinnings, very gothic atmosphere with solid mystery and a really compelling and endearing character cast. So, and beautiful prose to be expected from Rachel at this point.
Yes.
I do feel like it's inevitable that whatever she writes, you will get good things. But for anyone who has not heard of The Night and the Moth or doesn't know what it's about or needs a little refresher, The Night and the Moth follows a prophetess known as a diviner in this world called Sybil, who has spent 9 years working as a diviner, receiving visions from beings known as the Omens. And people from all over the kingdom seek her predictions. But as her service nears its end, diviners start disappearing. And to uncover the truth, she has to turn to a knight called Roderick, who has absolutely no belief or faith in the visions that she sees as a diviner. He is a skeptic and does not believe in the world that Sybil operates in. So, in this story, in a world where gods hold all the answers, Sybil has to rely on the biggest critic known to this world to uncover the truth of the disappearing diviners. And like I said, this story is characterized by heavy atmospheric vibes, a wholesome sisterhood. So it sounds like the diviners are all female, and everyone, not everyone, but a lot of folks who have read it say it's a really well-paced and entertaining read. I personally have not read the first book in this duology, but I do have high faith in Rachel, and like for no reason have I not read the first book. Like if it were to come across myself, I might indeed consider reading it, especially as we enter the fall. It could be cool to dig into this duology because it will be completing on September 1st, just in time for the vibey weather to turn and the change of the season. I don't really have a reason why I haven't read this. Kyla, can you like pinpoint? I think it's just like timing, really.
Yeah. I don't know. When it came out, I wasn't super drawn to it for some reason. Again, like don't have a reason. I just wasn't feeling it. But I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. Same with The Shepherd King, which we kind of corroborate. We know it was good. And the more I hear, the more I do want to give it a go.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it kind of came out around the same time, or it came out right after we were reading The Crimson Moth. Maybe the moth references, we were like, you know, I've had enough moth. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I think part of it for me too was a similar thing. Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent also has like a diviner who doesn't have eyesight vision and just has their kind of divine vision. So I think that was part of it for me too. I was like, okay, like I'm not ready for this vibe again yet.
Yeah, I need a break. I need to step away before I come back. I'll come back at some point.
Yeah.
But I do find I love a duology that's completed. Like, if it's a duology, I'll wait until the second one comes out. I'm kind of like that with series as well, right? Like, if it's going to be a slow release, I'm just going to wait until it's done and then I'll binge it. So same thing with this, you know?
Yeah. It's in our benefit that we waited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's next?
Okay, next up, On September 1st as well, we have Rider of Dragons by A.T. Qureshi. And this is a new adult romantasy from the author of the cozy fantasy series, starting with The Baby Dragon Cafe. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but I have seen the cover floating around. It's a very cute, kind of cartoony looking cover. But this is her kind of foray into adult romantasy. And Rider of Dragons follows Genevieve, who is determined to fly in the deadly dragon races, but her family refuses to let her. And without their money, she has nobody to train her. So in her desperation, she makes a deal with a member of a dragon poaching gang that he will train her to win in exchange for her giving him all of the prize money at the end. However, the dragon races are not just about being the fastest. In these races, sabotage, attacks, and all-out violence are all legal, so it can be very deadly. And Genevieve will kind of have to answer the question of whether winning is worth the chance of possibly dying.
That's usually how these things go, isn't it? It's like,
yes,
win or die.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one, it sounds intriguing to me, but I think what's missing from the description is the stakes. Like, we don't really get a sense from the description of why she wants to enter so badly and why she would be willing to give away all the prize money just to be in it. I don't know if it's just for glory or...
Right. Like, what is the motivation? What is the, like, catalyst for this conflict?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good call out. It is kind of like, you need to understand that part, I find. Yeah.
I'm sure the book will tell us if we read it, but
yeah, but you also should not have to read a whole book to like know what the core conflict is. Like, you should know what the core conflict is kind of at the beginning of the book.
Yeah So
I imagine.
I don't know, so I think it sounds interesting. It's not high on the priority list for me, but it does sound intriguing.
It does sound intriguing, and I do believe I've seen the Baby Dragon Cafe around.
Yeah, it has been out there. I wouldn't be surprised if you knew the cover. So that was Rider of Dragons by A.T. Qureshi.
Nice. Okay. Next on the list is like literally the longest anticipated book of my life. It is Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole, coming out on September 8th. Holy moly, it's been a ride. If anyone binge read Guilty as Charged, Spark, Glow, and Heat when it was self-published back in 2023, it has been a journey. These last 3 years have been quite something. Super excited that we're going to have Burn soon. All 3 of the previous books, as mentioned, published in 2023, were self-published. They all are rated greater than 4.17 on Goodreads. All really good books. I'm sure they've been nominated for something, but I don't know.
We nominate them.
Yeah, we nominate them. Reader's favorite romantasy of 2023, I guess. But yeah, hugely anticipated, long-awaited publish of the 4th and final book of the Kindred's Curse saga. And for anyone who either needs a little refresher about these ones because it's been so long, or for someone who's like, should I binge read those first 3 so I can enjoy Burn of the Everflame? The answer is yes, and here's why. I'm so biased. It's bad. But yeah, so this whole series is set in the realm of Emarian. This land has been colonized by the gods and is currently being ruled by their cruel demigod offspring, also known as the Descended. And this story in particular follows our female main character named DM, who is a human healer navigating life in the poorer parts of her village in the aftermath of her mother's disappearance. So she is working hard to support her family after her mother kind of just like went somewhere and we don't really know where. So with this big old chip on her shoulder and hugely resentful of the Descended upper class, DM actually finds herself being the only healer who is capable of attending to the ailing king's needs and is brought to the castle to do so under the watchful eye of the king's son, Luther, who becomes our male main character. Now, DM, as mentioned, is living in the poorest part of her kingdom, and in this realm, humans are not treated well. They are kind of oppressed. And DM jaded as she is, sees this newfound access to the king's castle and the royalty for all the potential that it is, right? The ability to infiltrate kind of the enemy and provide very valuable information to the human resistance working against the Descended to gain back, honestly, just like resources for humans who have been, repressed for so long. So DM finds herself at the center of a conflict and a growing civil war between the Descended and the human resistance. And of course, as the series progresses, she's increasingly caught in between them, both the ruling Descended royalty and the rebel forces. So this is a series that has some pretty serious political underpinnings, but it's also backed by some pretty epic world building. The kingdoms and the Descended are kind of like divvied up based on the children of the original colonizing gods, who are known as the Kindred, and there's some really cool magic. Kyla, you might be able to speak more to like the specifics of the magic itself, but each of the kingdoms has their own kind of like root magic, right?
Yeah, it was like when in the lore, when the gods came down to this land, they each fell in love with a human ruler of the different kingdoms. Mm-hmm. And each god had their own godly powers that were specific to them, and so those powers have been passed on. So depending on what realm you're born in as a Descended, you have those specific powers. So in DM's realm, there's light and shadow are the two main powers, but they vary as you go through the other realms.
Yeah, and the power varies as well, right, within the realm itself. So
yeah, like with the light and shadow, you can have, most people have one or the other, only the super powerful have both. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. The one thing I will say, the slowest burn you will ever burn. All right, like, yep,
the romance is not the center of this plot. Yeah. It's certainly intriguing, but it is not the center of the plot. The politics is way more front and center. The plot is way more front and center. The romance is kind of just a prop within it. And the slow burn was slow and sometimes infuriating, but I am so excited for Burn of the Everflame. And again, that is by Pencoal, coming September 8th.
Yeah, so excited for that one. Probably a top most anticipated release of the year for sure.
I know, which is so sad because honestly, when I get so excited, I'm always disappointed. So I'm trying to like tamper the excitement a little bit, but like, yeah, it's been 3 years. Like, we're stoked.
Okay. Next up, on the same day, September 8th, we have Tempest by Victoria Aveyard coming out. This is another highly anticipated one for me. So it's the first in a new duology from the author of the Red Queen series. But this one is a pirate fantasy inspired by Captain Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann, the romance that we all always wanted. So, immediately intrigued by that. So, Tempest follows Cat Rose, who was once a lady of the Meridian Empire, and she was married to a loathsome lord with a dwindling fortune. But now she is the Widow Rose, queen of a pirate tavern in the Lyrian Sea, and determined to be the master of her own fate. And from what I've heard, this book does go from like before and after parts, so you go a little bit back and forth between these two lives that she has led. But in the present day, the Meridian Empire's navy is falling heavily on the Lyrian Sea. They are bent on reclaiming the wealthy colonies and crushing the pirate republic once and for all. So ship after ship is being captured by the Empire's navy, all except for one, the legendary pirate captain Valerian Kane, who continually evades both noose and blade. And Valerian is the only man who might be able to rally the remaining pirates. He's the only man who truly threatens the Empire, and he is also the only man that Kat has ever loved. In a long-lasting, into her life and out of her life situation for as long as she can remember, she has had these feelings for this pirate captain.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed.
Right? Yeah. So, but problem now, in their desperation for victory, the Empire has offered Kat a devastating choice. She brings them Captain Valerian, or she hangs.
Okay, well, obviously she's gonna join him in his pirate life.
That's what I'm hoping that she's going to take to the high seas with him.
Yeah. We already know the ending, but it's going to be a good shot to get there. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah. So like super excited for this. I always wanted Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann to be together. So I'm hoping that we get lots of high seas action and romance, forbidden romance maybe from this. Yeah. I'm very eager for this one.
I did go through a pirate phase, and it's actually like one of the first, like a pirate book is one of the first books that I read after Throne of Glass that just like really enamored me, and it kind of set me on to Fable actually, in a very different way, because the book that I read was like naughty. There was a lot.
I remember you talking about this and you couldn't remember what it was called.
Yes, I remembered now. I remember the author and I could find it pretty quickly. Let me find it.
Okay, I want to know. Because it was like a pretty spicy one, right?
Yes, it was very spicy. There was also like some pretty aggressive like assault scenes in it, but it was like a three-way situation.
Okay.
Yeah, very fun. It's called Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin.
Okay. Don't know.
Very different vibes. Don't read that one without the trigger warnings, and also like not what this book sounds like. But all of this is to say, obsessed with pirate books, real big fan of a pirate book, and we love lady pirates too. So
yes. So does this mean that you will be reading this one?
I think so. Yeah. I'm intrigued by this one. I'm in my like I want to learn to sail era as well. Like I'm obsessively looking at sailboats.
Okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
But that was Tempest by Victoria Aveyard.
Very excited for that one. Next on our list, it's one I know that Kyla's considering. I believe you have the first book in this trilogy. But anyways, next up on our list, coming September 15th, is Turncloak by L.K. Stevens. And it's set to be a trilogy. This is the second book in what is known as the Silver Cloak saga, the first book being Silver Cloak. And in the first book, so the first book, first of all, it's currently sitting at a 3.90 stars on Goodreads out of 15,000 ratings. So not a ton. It's actually, I think, like pretty low amount of readers, I suppose. But the first book follows our female main character named Saffron, who, in the wake of witnessing her parents' murder, falsely or fraudulently enrolls herself into the elite Silver Cloak Academy. And days away from graduation, her fraud is unearthed and revealed, and she's given a bit of an ultimatum. So Saffron takes on the mission that she is given, which is to infiltrate the Blood Moons gang, which is actually the reason why she went to the Silver Cloak Academy anyways.
That works out well.
Yeah, I was like, convenient. Maybe you should have just revealed yourself to begin with. But she has to infiltrate the Blood Moons, which is also actually the gang who might have been responsible for the deaths of her parents, unsure. But of course, accepting the mission, Saffron is thrust into a very high-stakes undercover operation where she needs to operate in the dark underworld, where magic is fueled by currencies of pleasure and pain, and she needs to hide in this world because she has a rare immunity to magic. So while navigating gang politics and trying to keep her identity and her immunity hidden, she actually ends up falling for Levin, who is the son of the kingpin of the gang. Ooh. Yikes on bikes, oopsie daisies. Who actually also happens to be prophesized to have been killed by her hand.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's a prophecy, and according to the prophecy, Saffron kills Levin. So a whole other element or layer of complication.
Yeah.
Given that she doesn't even want to like this guy, but obviously she likes him. And also he's the son of the kingpin who probably killed her parents. Question mark. Sticky and mysterious. I am intrigued. I'm intrigued. There's like a lot of elements to this, like the academy, the undercover operation, the prophecy, the magic, like the gang. There's a lot going on. And yes, Turncloak, second book, coming September 15th by L.K. Stevens.
Yeah, this one I do own the first one, and I have really high hopes for it. I am convinced it's going to be a fantastic book. I haven't been, as you know, in a romantasy mood, although this one sounds very like, I don't think it's actually categorized as romantasy. I think it's more fantasy forward. But either way, I think it sounds cool. I think the magic fueled by pain and pleasure is interesting.
Yeah.
I love an undercover operation situation.
Yes, me too. Big fan of that.
Yeah, it's a cloak and dagger type story. So we've got cloaks and wands and stuff, I think. Which is fun, and it's
mystery.
Yeah. So
secrecy.
And if you've seen the map is very detailed and beautiful. It's kind of, do you remember the Witch Collector map?
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that one because it's just like a very fleshed out looking world.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. That's so fun.
Yeah. So might read that sooner than later. Who knows?
Nice. And again, that's Turncloak.
After Turncloak on September 15th as well, we have Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo coming out. This is the long-awaited finale to the Ninth House trilogy. Oh my gosh, we've been waiting a while for this one. I, for a while, did not think it was going to be published ever.
Yeah, like 7 years?
Yeah, like, so Ninth House won Reader's Favorite Fantasy in the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2019.
Wow.
And it's 2026. So we've been
7
waiting.
years.
Yeah. Ninth House, the first book in the trilogy, has a 4 stars out of 420,000 ratings on Goodreads. And the first book in the series, it follows Alex, who has kind of had a hard life. She dropped out of school early. She got mixed up in a bad world of drug dealers and bad boyfriends and dead-end jobs. And she actually ended up as the sole survivor of a horrific multiple homicide. And as she is in the hospital recovering, she gets an unexpected visit from the Dean of Yale, of all people, which is super random because it's one of the most prestigious universities in the country. And he offers her a second chance at life, or a chance at a new life, because Alex actually has a secret that she can see ghosts, and so, or spirits. And so the offer from the Dean of Yale is that she gets a full ride at Yale in exchange for joining a secret society, except it's not really like one of the secret societies. So at Yale there are 8 secret societies, and there's a 9th one that is kind of like the monitor for all the other ones, because they play around with like the occult and stuff. So they have this 9th house monitoring to make sure everybody's kind of playing by the rules and things aren't getting too dirty in what they're doing. And because Alex has this ability to like see spirits and stuff, she's the perfect candidate for this. However, when she gets there to Yale, things are a lot darker than they seem, and there are some murders, like a couple of people are turning up dead. The partner that she has in this 9th house, who is kind of training her for the position, has gone missing, and she's kind of recounting back from the beginning of the year, like what happened to lead up to this point. Yeah, it's a really good book. I loved 9th house when I first read it. I reread it again when Hellbent came out. I'm gonna read it again now that I need a refresher for Deadbeat. But it's really the perfect book for fall. It's the perfect dark academia book. Leigh Bardugo went to Yale, so she really knows the setting and she can write about it and bring it to life on page really well. And yeah, it's just a great, good book.
You love a dark academia. It's funny how much you're like just like, yes, dark academia. You love it.
Yes, I've always loved the genre. These days there's a lot of them coming out that feel a little, I don't know, I haven't been loving some of the new ones, but I do, if it can be done well with the atmosphere and the vibes, then it can be done really well.
Yeah, it's kind of like mass produced, optimizing for trope, written for the flavor of the readers versus like a quick hit, like a quick dopamine hit, you know?
Yes, that is definitely how it feels with a lot of newer dark academia releases, but I can confirm that 9th house doesn't feel that way. 9th house feels like really gritty and authentic. So yeah,
I tried 9th house audio and it didn't go well. No, it was very long audio.
It is long, yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't get into it. But I also like sometimes struggle with audio, not the same way you do, in the sense that like you don't like the voices. It's more so like I just get distracted. Like when I'm listening to an audio, I'm often doing something else. And unless I'm like cleaning or driving, I get distracted. So like if I'm walking, I'll get too distracted. Or honestly, just my thoughts. Like if there's a lot going on in my life and I can't like focus on the book, I'll, so.
Yeah, super fair. Super
It was
fair.
one of those. I couldn't get into it. But
I do think you should give
fun.
it another try physical. If the mood strikes you.
If the mood strikes me, because they are also large books. Like they're pretty big commitments. But who's to say the mood will not strike me?
Yeah. You never know when you need a dark occult academia murder mystery. But that was Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo, coming out September 15th.
Perfect. Okay, so next on our list is Harbinger by Geneva Lee, and that is coming out on September 22nd. This book is marked as a standalone, and if the name Geneva Lee is sparkling your little spidey senses, it is because she is best known for both of her series, Filthy Rich Vampires and Filthy Rich Fae. Those are very well known. I see them all the time. No idea what they're about. Haven't looked into them, but like they are often recommended to me when I am looking for a spicy series and a why choose series. So
Okay.
that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But this new book, and again, it's supposed to be a standalone, centers around Arden Icaros, who belongs to the poorest of her realm's 5 noble bloodlines. And like all nobility, Arden's future depends on a mandatory inheritance ceremony where a celestial constellation is meant to grant her magic and a defined path in society. So there's a ceremony, they're tattooed with the celestial constellation, and that assigns them their magic and their status, essentially. However, when Arden's ceremony concludes, she is branded with a forbidden catastrophic constellation. According to prophecy, this specific mark labels her as a harbinger, a living omen destined to bring about the destruction of the kingdom and the start of a catastrophic war. So instantly, she goes from being a very minor noble with no status to the realm's most wanted enemy, and she's pursued by lethal assassins and corrupt nobility. Now, to survive, Arden has to ally with Bishop Marius, who is one of the kingdom's most ruthless executioners, who, instead of killing her, chooses to hide her. So he has some intrigue when it comes to Arden, and he's like, no, I'm not going to kill this one. We're going to hold on to her. So they ally, and together they have to navigate a dangerous web of political intrigue, forbidden magic, and a very hazardous attraction to each other that might or might not end with the destruction of the entire kingdom.
Okay. Okay.
Intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I'm more intrigued by this author's other series, though, I must say.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, that I was like, I'm intrigued about this because I'm intrigued about the other ones.
Yes. So it's like, do I read this to get a sense of Geneva Lee's writing because it's a standalone, it's a low commitment, or do I just read the series that I'm actually intrigued by, which is the Filthy Rich Fae series?
Yeah, honestly, I think you should go for Filthy Rich Fae, especially if you're looking for a why choose kind of moment.
Yeah. I might be totally wrong on the why choose thing, but I'm pretty sure whenever I like look into why choose romances or like why choose fantasy, these ones come up. I don't know. But for anyone who is interested, again, that is Harbinger by Geneva Lee, coming out September 22nd.
Nice, okay. After that, also on September 22nd, we have Kiss of the Black Flame by Helen Shoira. And this is the start of a new romantasy series from her. And she, if her name is tickling your spidey senses, she is the author of The Legends of Thesmar and The Ashes of Thesmar series. And this new book is the start of a new series in a totally different world, which is really fun. I've been eager to read more, read a new series by Helen, a totally new story to kind of give her another go, because I think she is a good writer. I just had some small issues with Blood and Steel. But her second series that she wrote was in the same world, so I was like, no, I still have to go through them all, but now I'm able to start fresh without having to catch up on like 8 books.
Yes, yeah.
So this one follows Sage, who is the most promising bookbinder in the capital, and she is also dealing with chronic pain and crushing debt on the side. And she's just trying to get by. But when the man she owes money to decides that her talent is worth more than her payments to him, she is traded to the Azkari and imprisoned in their ancient stronghold. And the Azkari are an immortal race forged by the gods for war. And her only chance of survival lies with Archer, a fallen Azkari general imprisoned beside her. He is cursed, dangerous, and impossible to ignore naturally. So
of course.
Of course. And so he offers her a way out, and in return, she must help him retrieve and restore an ancient book. But the book is made of living magic, and it's powerful enough to stop a great evil or unleash that great evil on the world. And as she begins to work with Archer, the tome begins to awaken something dark and dangerous in both the realm and in her.
Intriguing.
Yeah, I think this one sounds fun. I like the concept of the bookbinder.
Yes. What is the one that we read for book club a couple of years ago that I really did not like very well? It was a library YA.
Sorcery of Thorns.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is giving flashbacks to that simply by the bookbinding premise. And I'm scared, but it sounds good.
Okay, I actually was not getting those vibes from the description, but like I can see how you got there.
Magical books? I don't know about that.
Maybe this will heal your concept of magical books.
Maybe, yeah, it will restore the faith in the magical book.
Yeah, I did get an e-arc of this one, so I am planning to read it soonsies, maybe in the next, well, the book is out in a month from the day that we're recording this, so soon I will be reading it to stay on track with that. But I'm excited. I'm very hopeful. I want to love this author, and so I'm very fingers crossed that this one works out for me.
I think it'll go well. I have a feeling it'll go well. It does sound good. I love the captive component to it.
Yeah, that sounds fun, and that he's captive too.
Yes, yeah, the mutual captives, big fan.
Yeah. So that's Kiss of the Black Flame, coming out September 22nd.
Okay, so also on September 22nd, and hold your hats again, because September 22nd is a booming day for
it is.
The world of fantasy romantasy. But also coming out September 22nd is The Sweetest Fiend by Raven Kennedy. If your spidey senses are tingling, it's because Raven Kennedy is well known for her Plated Prisoner series. I have actually read that series. But this new series is a dark adult fantasy romance, which is loosely inspired by the Pied Piper legend. No idea what the Pied Piper legend is, not gonna lie. So
the Pied Piper, it's one of those things, like I've heard of the Pied Piper, could not tell you a single thing about it though.
Yeah, 100%. Like, have I heard those words together in life? Yes. Do I know what the context of those words are? No, not at all.
Yeah, I was a little bit, when I heard that it was inspired by that, I was like, based on like nothing, but I was kind of like, that feels weird.
Very random. But it's kind of in line with Raven Kennedy, because I think the Plated Prisoner series was inspired by Midas.
Yeah.
But this new one is set in a dark fantasy world that has been split open by 9 monstrous banes who left behind rotating deadly plagues that punish humanity. And this story follows our female main character, who is called Esty. Going to be really hard not calling her Etsy. Esty, who is a rare, despised half-fae, half-bane fiend. So she's called a fiend because she's half-fae, half-bane. So in this story, when a lethal plague strikes her city, the mysterious Pied Piper clears the curse but demands that 130 citizens, including Esty, join him or become his as a payment. So Esty, along with 130 others, are trapped and must find a way to escape their captor and return to their families. So she is on a mission to get back to her ailing mother because no one else can care for her. However, an intense and wicked connection sparks between herself and the Pied Piper throughout their travels to his house. And a romance. This is a captor-captive romance, okay? And she's trying to get back to her mother, who needs her because she can't live without her.
All right.
Still don't know what the Pied Piper is.
No. Somebody please tell us what the Pied Piper is.
I don't know.
Who is this man?
Yeah, right. I'm intrigued, but it's giving Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yeah, like the 130 captives. Like, they're all just traveling together to his house.
And who is the Pied Piper? Is he a person?
I'm Googling it right now. A popular European folktale about a colorfully dressed stranger who rid the German town of Hamelin of a rat infestation using a magic flute.
Okay.
When the town refused to pay him, he retaliated by magically luring all the town's children away. So, that explains the 130 captives.
Yes, it does explain that. That's good. That's great. And like saving them from the plague as well. Yeah.
I see the connections.
I am intrigued. Like, I'm surprised we're calling like the character in the novel the Pied Piper, though.
Yes. I'm surprised it wasn't renamed to something else.
Yes.
But
yeah. Intrigued. This is the kind of book, nothing against Raven Kennedy. I actually really liked the Plated Prisoner series. But this is the kind of book that I read when I have nothing else to read. You know, it's not the thing I reach for, is the thing that's like, oh, maybe I need something to like pull me back into fantasy, or like I need something just like so absurd that I'm going to be like locked in on it. And you know, the spice is going to be good.
Yeah.
A wicked and intense connection, captor and captive, that shit's always good.
That's always good.
It always slaps. That always hits. But like, I don't know if this would be my top priority.
No, I don't see myself personally reaching for this one. I think I still haven't read Plated Prisoners, but I've heard amazing things. So if it's going to be Raven Kennedy for me, it's going to be Plated Prisoners.
Plated Prisoner. Yeah. Yeah. I am intrigued. I think it's supposed to be a duology, like I said, so not a huge commitment. But again, this is The Sweetest Fiend by Raven Kennedy, coming out September 22nd.
Also, September 22nd, we have The Mirror of Infinite Endings by Stephanie Garber. And this one is a spin-off novella to the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, of which the first book, Once Upon a Broken Heart, has a 4.06 out of 762,000 ratings and was a nominee for readers' favorite YA fantasy and sci-fi in 2021. And this is not a traditional spin-off about new characters. It's kind of a direct sequel, except it's shorter. Like, I think it's only 250 pages, so it's more novella length, but it does follow the main couple from the original trilogy after the events of the third book. So the conflict has wrapped up. People are happily living their lives now, except somebody has a secret. And it sounds like this secret may or may not have the power to rewrite reality, alter history, and change the ending to the story that we got in book 3. So there's not a lot of detail. I think this is such a popular series that I think they're keeping it kind of locked down on detail. But people have been asking, and people is me, I have been asking for
people
more.
Is me. I am people.
I am people. For more of Jax and Evangeline from this series. I read this trilogy and was kind of obsessed with it. It was so good. It was so addicting.
I do remember your obsession.
Yeah. And so I have been waiting for her to announce something else in this world. I didn't think she was going to do more about them. I thought it would just be new characters in this area of the world. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this one's all about. I do tend to crave this series in December for some reason, because
you read them in December.
Yeah, I read them on the train home for Christmas and like at home for Christmas the first time. So now I find every time Christmas rolls around, I'm like, ooh, give me some Jax and Evangeline. So yeah, I may like reread the series as a refresher and like just enjoy the vibes again this coming December.
There's something as well about a fairy tale in December. like fairy tales feel like they belong in December because it's such like a magical time of year.
Yes, exactly. And this book is very kind of fairy tale heavy in themes. It's very magic and happily ever afters and curses and yeah. So are you going to read it, the series?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have it. I have the first book or the second, or maybe the first and second.
Okay. You do kind of have to be in the mood because like the first bit of the first book does come across kind of YA. Yeah, like when I first started it, I was like, ooh, I don't know about this.
Yikes on bikes.
But once it kicked in, I was like, I actually can't put this down. So
intrigued.
Yeah. But that is The Mirror of Infinite Endings by Stephanie Garber.
Perfect. Okay. So the last book coming on the 22nd, we know it was a hot day for releases. The final release for September 22nd on our list is The Wretched Divine by best-selling author of the Belladonna series, Adeline Grace. This is the first in a new series by Adeline, with an undisclosed number of titles. So not quite sure how many books this series is going to shake up to be, but the Wretched Divine series centers on an ancient, brutal war between angels and demons. I'm actually very intrigued by this one. And it follows a human lady knight named Aurelie Chanteloun, who has trained her entire life to kill demons after they tore her family apart as a child. An orphan. What a surprise.
Another orphan.
An orphan. To aid in her kingdom's survival, her family legacy requires her to claim her first kill and inherit a magical soul bond with an angel named Uriel. However, something has started to go very seriously wrong in this world as the people Aurelie loves begin transforming into the very monsters she has sworn to destroy. So humans are turning into demons for an unknown reason. Now, desperate to save them, Aurelie makes the dangerous choice, to forge a secondary, conflicting soul bond with a demon named Severin, who claims to hold the key to ending the war forever between angels and demons. So, this forced alliance forms a tense central trio between a knight, an angel, and a demon as they embark on a high-stakes quest to find a cure that can turn demons back into humans. And Aurelie's proximity to both sides forces her to question everything she has ever been taught about good, evil, and her own destiny.
Interesting.
I'm intrigued. I think I'm intrigued the most by the fact that she has the soul bond with the angel and the demon.
When you said a trio, I was like, that's why Sarah's intrigued.
Well, just like, how is this going to shake out?
Yeah.
You know? And how does one battle the angel and the demon upon them? You know?
How indeed.
So yeah, this one seems intriguing to me. I've also never read anything by Adeline Grace, so I am intrigued by Adeline Grace, but I don't really want to read the Belladonna series because there's 3 of them, and I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
Did you ever read the Belladonna series?
No, but I own 2 copies of the first book and 2 different editions, and one of my good friends absolutely loves the series. So, and this is the friend that like loves dark romance and stuff, so I, not saying that Belladonna is dark romance, but because I've heard such good things from her, I would like to read it eventually. I just keep not getting around to it every year.
Yeah, fair. I am intrigued by this one. We'll see.
Yeah,
if
I like
read it.
the angels and demons is always a fun switch up.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've read an angels and demons based story. Like, truthfully, the only one that I can think of is Immortal Instruments.
Yeah, that was I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I feel like there was more angels and demons stuff in the 2010 era.
Yeah, it's not as common anymore. You certainly get a lot of demons, but not as many angels. So, yeah, intrigued. Again, that is The Wretched Divine, coming out September 22nd, and it is by Adeline Grace.
After that, we have September 29th, The Thief and the Traitor Bride by V.L. Bovalino. And this is another anticipated one for Sarah and I. This is the standalone sequel to The Second Death of Locke, which has a 3.86 out of 31,000 ratings on Goodreads. And like I said, this one is a standalone sequel, so you don't need to read Locke before you read this one, although we would recommend it because we loved Locke.
Great story. Very good.
Yeah,
book.
but this one, The Thief and the Traitor Bride, follows Nor Gordon, who is a woman of many talents. She can speak a variety of languages, disguise herself in plain sight, and has made a name for herself as a successful wine merchant. But unbeknownst to those closest to her, it's all a front for her true role as the favored spy of the Lindell crown. So, love that she's a sneaky little spy.
Mm-hmm.
And tasked with infiltrating enemy lands in search of a powerful relic, Nor is forced to engage the services of a great thief. Unfortunately, the only person for the job is her estranged husband, Caspian. Both Nor and Caspian bear the scars of the disastrous end of their marriage, but if they are to survive this deadly new assignment, they must pose as a happily married couple to avoid detection.
I love this.
Mm-hmm.
I am 100% reading this one, not just because I love V.L. Bovalino, but I love the idea of an estranged couple, like a forced proximity estranged marriage.
Yeah.
Forced proximity?
Yeah.
The like bickering you're gonna get.
Oh,
it's just like top tier, it's gonna be top tier banter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the fact that they have to pretend to love each other, like, so you've got it. I think it's just gonna be such good banter because it'll be like a smiling for the people, but then like stepping on each other's feet kind of situation.
Like smiling, but like stabbing someone with a fork.
Yeah, and we know, like, we love her writing. She writes such good yearning. Like, the yearning in The Second Death of Locke was like off the charts yearning.
Yeah, and I imagine it's going to be the same with this situation too. Like, hates each other, fighting, but also secretly still in love. But like, there's all this like water under the bridge, and can't like, and have to be together again, and then realize that they actually like each other still. But like, there's all that other history. I don't know, maybe not, but wherever it goes, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm here for it. And I do think there's going to be some crossover with some of the characters you saw in the first book, but it's not going to be like a central part of the story.
Yeah, more like an Easter egg or like a little showcase, but nothing too like, what is it, cameo, I think?
Yeah, more of a cameo.
A little cameo, but nothing too wild. Big excitement for that one.
Very exciting. So that was The Thief and the Traitor Bride by V.L. Bovalino, coming out September 29th.
Beautiful. Okay, so last on our list, coming out also on September 29th, is Cursed City by Kate Golden. And this is the sequel to Half City. Half City currently is sitting at a 4.05 out of 24,000 ratings. And this story follows 21-year-old Viv Abbott, who maintains a routine as an ordinary retailer, working an ordinary retail job, who is in an unfulfilling relationship to appease her mother. By night, she works independently as a demon hunter in the city of Astera, a path she chose after her father's unsolved murder from her youth. Now, her carefully crafted routine changes when she meets Reed Graveheart, who is a reformed demon who introduces her to Harker Academy for Deviant Defense, which is a specialized institution where hunters train to combat supernatural threats. So Reed says, hey, you're good at your job hunting demons. Let's get you some serious training, which we kind of like.
We do.
We do like that. Now, enrolling at Harker gives Viv access to a community of peers and structured training, but it also introduces new complications. She must hide a dangerous aspect of her internal magic from her classmates while investigating clues regarding her father's death. Now, as hazardous incidents begin targeting the student body, Viv must navigate academic demands, investigate institutional secrets, and manage an unexpected connection with Reed, who is actually also her school instructor. Yeah, super fun, super exciting, super spicy. Very intrigued by this one. But also, like, I haven't read the first one, and I don't know if I'm willing to read the first one to get to this one. But Half City sounds fun.
It does sound fun. The vibe that I'm getting from it and from the cover art is like UK university, like Cambridge kind of vibes. And I've heard from reviews that this book is for the Vampire Diaries fans. Like, that if you're a fan of Vampire Diaries, you're going to like this. And I am fan. I am one of them. Love the Vampire Diaries, so I do think this is going to be a fun one.
Yes, I agree. I think it's definitely something worth considering. Again, that is Cursed City by Kate Golden, coming out on September 29th.
And that is all the books we have in part 1 of our fall release radar. So just the September releases. We do have a part 2 coming of the releases from October, November, and December. So look out for that one and don't miss it, because there's a lot more great ones coming out this fall. We just couldn't fit them all in one episode, but hopefully we have successfully added to your TBR. And if you plan on reading any of these, reach out to us on Instagram at paperback.ponderings and let us know which ones you're going to read. And we will see you next week.